Morning, Piggy.
Morning. It's Friday. You'll see this Saturday. It's a Saturday morning to you. Happy weekend. Just dropped off our charge for the morning. It's the last day of the week doing that. It's going to be fairly warm today, but that's supposed to change. So we're going to go home, get a little breakfast, see what to do after that. It's supposed to be cold next week, folks. Supposed to be getting supposed to be getting another rounding, more of it next week.
Yeah, let's talk
Possibly
about
Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, talking about getting up to 10 inches down in South Georgia. Whew.
I don't want to imagine what we might get here.
Well, they're talking 24 inches throughout Georgia and Alabama, Mississippi.
Last time we got that much down here, it was the blizzard of '93. And it wasn't but that much in the snow drifts. So, come next week, we might be off for a while.
We might be snowed in.
Yep.
That's okay. We went to the grocery. We're packed up, stacked up, stocked up, and all that other good stuff.
Right. Folks, when I was a kid, if I wanted some money, I had to go work for it. When I was a teen, I would work with my neighbor, my quote-unquote best friend.
Where are we going?
Automatic pilot took over, I guess. Well, we're going to go route we used to take.
Been a while.
Been a while. You just want to see that down through there anyway.
Yeah.
But, work with them, baling hay. Folks, you talk about some hard work. Baling hay is some hard work. I'd be out there 13, 14, 15 years old, baling hay. That's one of the ways I got the strength that I had. Baling hay. 50-pound square bales. And there was some of them that was 2 to 3 times that way because it wet. I'd be throwing them up on the back of pretty much a semi-trailer flatbed. This thing's already up to my chest, and I'd be throwing those things 5, 6, 7 layers up to my friend who would catch them and stack them. Folks, you throwing that much weight up that high repeatedly for hundreds of bales, you're going to build some strength. I made $5 an hour. And I was out there popping them up one after the other. Bam, bam, bam. A lot of hard work. But the thing about it was, that's just basic labor. I've worked for my neighbor, helping him build stuff over on his property. He would pay me the amount that was for basic labor later in years. A little over $8 an hour. And he, told me up front what he'd pay me, and I told him, I said, well, it's basic labor. There ain't no skill to it. I said, I get it. I don't expect you to pay me for like you would a plumber or electrician or anything like that. There ain't no skill to what you got me doing. Before NAFTA, most everything, well, pretty much everything we needed was manufactured here on American soil. But taxes started getting to the point where businesses couldn't hardly make any money because they was having to pay taxes. And then when NAFTA took over, and they basically let everybody else, other countries, send all their stuff in tax-free, and then kept taxing businesses here, more and more and more, they went overseas, took jobs away from here. It caused a lot of people to have to start looking elsewhere for work. You know, you work for a contractor as a basic laborer, or fast food as a basic laborer. You get basic labor wage. There ain't no skill in it. Yeah, you got to learn how to run a couple of things, but they're really easy to learn. Yeah, I worked for Captain D's when I was 18, and everything. But back in the day, jobs like that were for teens and college-age students that were wanting to make a little extra money for spending money, or a little extra money to live on while they was in college, learning a skill. Well, once they completed tech school, college, whatever it was they was going to, they would leave those types of jobs to go get into the type of job they were aiming for. At which time they started getting paid more because they had more skill. They had something to offer other than a back to do the heavy lifting. That's been what I've been most of my life. It was just a strong back to do the basic physical labor involved. You know, like in construction. You know, I've been the one moving the shingles or the lumber or something from one point to another, so that those with the skills to know what to do with it could get to it, do their job. They're gonna make more money than me because they have a skill. And many that get into construction and stick with it, they learn skills on the job so that they can get promoted, they can move up, they can do something else because they've learned a skill while doing that job to be able to move up to that spot and make more money. You know, what's going on now is an effort to bring all that manufacturing back here so that there'd be jobs that require a little skill. I got to driving lift trucks. Not because I wanted money, I just wanted to drive a lift truck. That's what I wanted to do. You know, I like to drive. Of course, naturally, it paid more money than being a basic creeler. Being a creeler, it didn't pay minimum wage, it paid a little bit more. Not a heck of a lot more. But it was basic labor. Well, on that lift truck, I was driving around 5 tons of metal. That's empty. What carried, that's not counting a load I might have been hauling, which might have been anywhere from 200 to 2,500 pounds. And doing it fast. With sharp-edged forks on the end of it. Putting it up on krill racks. 1, 2, and 3 stories high. And trust me, you get a 3-story high, basically a 4-floor krill rack, because you had the floor and then you had 3 stories above that. Trust me, taking a lift truck and putting something up 3 stories high, well, actually 4 stories. At 4 stories, you don't see the floor except underneath it. So you got to know where to put that big old giant case of yarn. You know, cases that come up almost to my chest in height, square. And it could be 300 or 400 pounds. It could be 2,000 pounds, depending on the type of yarn. And to do it quickly, you had to be good. Well, folks, I was good. I was the best there was. I'd take care of my side and help others take care of theirs. That type of good. Well, that takes skill. Lots of it. So I was getting paid decent money. Yeah, I still wasn't, I wasn't making what a lineman would make. I wasn't making what a phone serviceman would make. But I didn't have that skill set. Compared to them, I was still basic labor. So it's understandable. You get paid for what skill level that particular job takes. So, well, when NAFTA took place and everything left the country because companies couldn't afford to pay the taxes they were being taxed, they would have went under. They would have went out of business trying to pay the taxes that the government wanted. Well, that took a lot of skill required jobs out of America, leaving a lot of people who had no other skill set scrambling. Then they wanted to expect wages that required a skill to get that level of wage. It don't work like that. If I had somebody come and do something at the house, if it was just shoveling dirt, I ain't gonna pay them an amount of money that requires skill. It don't take no skill to shovel dirt. Sorry, not sorry, but that's, I'm not gonna pay you an electrician's salary just to mow my yard. Requires no skill. Mowing a yard, you take a bush mower or a riding mower, you go over it. The machine does work, you just push it along. There is no skill. So that's how that works. Basic Economics 101, you pay a person with the skill level that job requires accordingly. Well, that's how that works. As a business, you got to pay your employees, you got to pay the taxes, you got to try to get the business and all like that and everything. Well, when the taxes or other things get to a point where you can no longer afford to run a business in an area, you leave that area. When NAFTA took place, that's what a lot of companies did. They left the area, they left America. So, because it was cheaper on them to pay tariffs and ship their product back over here than it was for them to pay the taxes they were having levied on them. It took a lot of jobs away from Americans. And then we got into an era of no real skill jobs, being all there was for people to do. So it became the way of making a living. Not much of one, granted, but that's what there was. Now, if you stick around with a job like that and get into management, then you can start making some money in a job like that. But not everybody can get into management because they don't have that skill set. And a lot of people, just to be honest, ain't got the capability to have that skill set. Because as management, you got to run the place like you own it. And if you don't, those who do is going to come down hard on you. So it takes some intelligence. And there's a lot of folks don't have the intelligence to run one. I've got the intelligence to run one, but I ain't got the patience to deal with customers. So I'm not a good match for that kind of thing. Once you learn a little bit about basic economics and realize that you don't get paid just because you're there. You actually got to do a job to get paid for a job. Elaine's got a cousin that's going to have to start looking for a job. She'd go and one interview, she was trying to tell the job what hours she would work, what she would get paid, and how she would work. Mm-hmm. No, it don't work like that. You go to do a job, you do that job as prescribed, as laid out by the employer, not the other way around. Saw one kid work at Starbucks. Said, oh my God, I had to be there for 8 hours. And there was only 5 of us. Well, consider yourself lucky. I used to work for Captain D's, be there 6-8 hours. And I was the only cook for that time. It was 1 week, all the rest of them decided to take vacation. So I was there open to close every day that week. And I was the only cook. And there was 2 counter girls. I was the only cook. Hello. Guess what I was making?
Minimum wage?
Minimum wage. Yeah, I saved a store. I needed a store closer to home. They sent me to one that was in trouble. Kept getting poor shoppers. In other words, bad grades. And first time a shopper came in, the girls looked right. They whispered back to me, it's a shopper, it's a shopper. I'm like, what the heck's a shopper? I just did my job. It was the first perfect score they got in a very, very, very long time. I just did the job. It's a low-level skill set job. Almost no skill required, basically. Drop some fish, put together a sandwich. I mean, come on, let's get real. Don't take no brains. Well, I saved that store. And they come at me and said, if I stuck it out until I was 18, they put me in for management. I didn't have the temperament. And I knew it. And the assistant manager we had brought that out because he was a POS. Well, anyway, now there's a chance that a lot of manufacturing is going to be coming back to America, and there's going to be jobs available that people can get paid more than minimum wage so that they can actually have a living. And minimum wage jobs could go back to being something for teenagers and college students to earn a little extra money to get them along. So, you got to study out economics, see how things actually work. Just because you exist doesn't mean you earn $50 an hour. Biggie loves you.